Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk to you about why you could be a DIY or a do-it-yourself investor. In case you find a bias towards doctors, it's because I just met a few doctors, and doctors have a dual personality. When you go to them in their own field, they think you should not read up anything, you should not read Google, you should not find out anything about their profession, and you should come to them and you should listen to them perfectly still and implement whatever they say. However, when it comes to investing and you tell them things like indexing or buying a term insurance, it's not something that they want to listen to. There they want to be active, do-it-yourself investor for completely wrong reasons. So here I am going to address why you should be a DIY or why you could be a DIY. I am not saying you should be. In fact, I'll do a separate post on what qualifies you to be a DIY. And so why should you be a DIY? Simply because if you like doing this, which means you spend all your spare time reading about the market, talking about the market, watching YouTube videos like this one, it means you're having fun doing it. So if you're having fun doing it, you should be doing it, right? So it should not harm your life, it should not harm your practice as a chartered accountant or as a lawyer or as a doctor. But if it's fun, well, it should not be like a hobby, but it should be serious, and you should be willing to invest in becoming a serious DIY and not just watching a TV channel and buying some shares. So first of all, it's fun. Second, you think at least you think that you are in control of the situation because you know what you're buying. This is a little difficult to believe because doctors don't understand the pharmaceutical industry as well as they think they do. Yes, some doctors do. I have met doctors far and wide in this country, some who are very good at investing simply because they apply all their surgical skills even on the market. They know what to see, what to do, and how to analyze. Therefore, they are good investors, not in spite of becoming doctors. They have spent time and effort in becoming a good investor, just as they spend time and effort in becoming good doctors. In fact, some of these doctors who are good investors are amazingly good, have a amazingly good practice also, right? You will save some money in fees for sure, but that should not be the only criteria why you should want to be a DIY. It is like me saying, oh, I will read the papers and I don't need a doctor. I will do it myself. There are enough websites on Google where I can read up and decide what to do for my stomachache or what to do for my toothache. That's a bluff. You think you are in control, but you may not be in control. But these are good enough reasons for you to be a DIY investor as a doctor or as a chartered accountant. So now my take is something like, how should you start becoming a DIY investor? So the problem, as I see with doctors, is they just plunge full, right? So what you should be doing is putting your toe in the water, right? Water is very cold, but at least you should put your toe in and then your feet in and then see how it is, and then decide on what to do about. Don't take a deep dive into ice cold water and suffer a heart attack, right? So don't do that. Do it slowly, do it small way. Compare yourself how you are doing with compared to your say a mutual fund portfolio. You need to learn certain things. What are the things that you need to learn? First, you need to learn financial planning. Many doctors absolutely stupidly believe that because they can pick up some stocks and some of those stocks have done well, they know financial planning. This is farthest from the truth. So a doctor who is a DIY would not have made his will, would not have the nominations in place for some of his bank accounts and broking accounts for his own housing society. He would have made a pretty big mess of his practice accounting. And amidst all this, if he wants to become a DIY, it's absolutely foolish. But yes, there are enough doctors I find who do this. You need to read up on how to make this. You need to read up on how to plan your retirement, because doctors retire too. Maybe at 65, maybe at 70, maybe at 75. How to manage your money post that is a very different challenge from how you are going to manage it from your age of say 30 till the age of 75. 75 to 100, you may be having to manage it very differently, and you may need some skill sets which you do not have. I'm not saying it can't be learned, but it has to be learned. How many doctors I meet have zero knowledge of financial history? You cannot do any subject without understanding how that industry has reached where it has reached. So whether it is reading Ayn Rand, or whether it is reading about Harshad Mehta's scam, or any of those things, Indian history, Indian investment history, history of the world investing history, all that have to be read. You have to understand that many countries stock exchange and went fut in the First World War, right? So you have to be careful. You cannot just assume that every market will be like US and every market will be like Hong Kong or China. The market could be like Japan. All the returns for a 30-40 year market have been paid upfront, right? So there is no back end return. So you could have markets like that. So you need to learn about about the history of markets. You need to understand basic accounting, which many doctors lack. Why doctors? Many people lack. They don't understand debits, credits. They can't read a balance sheet. And still, if you can't read a balance sheet and you can't understand personal finance, if you can't understand retirement planning, if you can't understand succession planning, if you can't understand nomination, just because you think you can pick up a few scripts here and there, you think you're doing your own personal finance, it is disaster. You at least need a friend or somebody to whom you can sound out saying what you are doing, and then find out whether what you're doing is right or wrong. So I've seen extremely concentrated portfolios. Recently somebody had put 60% of his liquid net worth into ITC because he saw on Twitter that ITC is a great dividend yield share. He had no clue what was the dividend yield that he was getting. He didn't know how to calculate dividend yield. He didn't know how falling prices, how you could not keep on buying at falling prices hoping that one day there will be reversion of mean. None of this he knew, but he thought he was a great DIY and he was not going through any advisor. First of all, I am skeptical about anybody who gives advice online for free, and because you don't understand his motive. Then there are people who give information through newsletters, which means they are not sure about what they are doing, and therefore they prefer making money by selling newsletters and classes and things like that. That is not the way you can get information and data and learning and start investing. Ask that person, have you made money in the share market, and if yes, how? If the answer to that is no, then that is not the right person from whom you should be taking advice, whether it is paid or unpaid, right? Another important part of your learning has to be why the market fell, why there was corrections. I mean, I'm sure this is part of marketing history, but the learning more about the bad periods is far more important than learning about successful periods. Please also understand most most literature in investing, especially in equities, is American, and it has been written during the most prosperous American era. Right? America today, the same views of Buffett which he held 40 years ago or 30 years ago may not hold today, right? So be careful about that. Of course, you must invest and you must learn things on your own. That's the best way to ever do it. So maybe you should be saving 50% of your income, or 70% of your income, or 90% of your income, depending on with whom you're staying, how young you are, etc., etc., and then start investing. Also, please understand there is a lot of risk. There should be a small risk of market going up and going down, and then there could be permanent risk, like you bought S Bank at 200 or 300 and now it's gone to 0 or thereabouts at 10 or 12, right? So you have to be ready for all those kind of things. You have to understand what is appropriate sizing. Only when you start understanding all that can you create an impact by handling your own money. Otherwise, you're fooling yourself into believing that you can create your own alpha, and that apart from your full-time practice, you can also look after this. To me, that sounds like a big claim. Most people fail doing this double thing. So be careful whether you want to be a DIY, how you want to be a DIY. It's possible, but it takes effort. It is not so simple as you think it is. Thank you.